Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we're on Hadith number 98. If Allah loves His servant. Alright, so we went through the last Hadith. And the last Hadith was the Hadith al-Wali, which is the Hadith of Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. And in that Hadith, as we saw the actions that a person has to do to become beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, in this Hadith, what you're going to see is you're going to see the result, what happens once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves a servant after he does those things that you saw in the previous hadith. Now you're going to see the natija, or the result, and what's going to happen with the servant now, and what's the benefit, and what's the reward that he reaps after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him, after he does all these actions to gain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love. So this hadith is also an Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا أحب الله تعالى العبد نادى جبريل إن الله تعالى يحب فلانا فاحببه فيحبه جبريل فينادي في أهل السماء إن الله يحب فلانا فأحبوه فيحبه أهل السماء ثم يوضع له القبول في الأرض متفق عليه. So this hadith is reported on the authority of Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he said, إذا أحب الله تعالى العبد, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves a servant, nada, it means what? To call. Nada yunadi, and it's nida'an. Nida'an is the masdar. So nada yunadi nida'an. Alright, so this means to call. Alright, to call somebody, to call out to somebody. Alright, inna Allah ta'ala yuhibbu fulana. And so Jibril, he calls out, and he said, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls to Jibril, sorry. And he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves this person. فَأَحْبِبْهُ. So you love him also. And this command is to Jibril. فَيُحِبُّهُ Jibril. So Jibril, he loves the servant once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that to him. But he said, فَيُنَادِي Jibril فِي أَهْلِ السَّمَاءِ. So he calls out to the people of the Sama'. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ فَلَانًا فَأَحِبُّهُ. So then it's called out to the people of, all of the other angels throughout all the samawat sab'a. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves this person. So you love him also. فَيُحِبُّهُ أَهْلُ السَّمَاءِ. And then the people of all of the angels of the heavens, they love him. ثُمَّ يُضَعُ لَهُ الْقُبُولُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And then acceptance is placed for him in the earth. And this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Now when it's talking about the acceptance is placed for him in the earth, is that acceptance amongst all the people? Or what? Is that acceptance? The acceptance will be placed for him in the earth amongst everybody?
No.
Huh?
No.
All right, amongst who?
Amongst Muslims.
Well, specifically amongst the people of khair, the people of obedience, because the Muslims is a broad terminology. And from amongst the Muslims, the people who are truly Muslim, you have three different tabaqat. You got the sabiqun bil khayrati, you have the muqtasid, and then you have the zalim li nafsihi. So you have the three different levels of Muslims, right? You got the sabiqun bil khayrat. These are the people that go like they're like the first, and they race each other to do all the good deeds. They're always the first in everything. Whenever they know that they read a hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood up at night, they're like the first to go try to do it. If they read a hadith about certain surahs in the Quran and the fadl of these surahs, they're quick to memorize them. They're always, these are the sabiqun bil khayrat, the ones who race in good deeds. And the muqtasid is the one who was yaqtasid ala al-wajibat. He does what's wajib upon him, but he doesn't really do any extra, and he stays away from the haram, and he does what's wajib, but he doesn't do what? The extra. And then we have the zalimun li nafsi. The person who oppresses himself. The person who, he has like a taqsir. Even when the stuff is wajib upon him, he shortchanges it a lot. And and staying away from the sins is something that he doesn't do. He falls into sins constantly, whether it be from constantly falling into certain sagha'ir or also falling into al-kaba'ir. So generally the people that are going to have the most acceptance for this person are what? The sabiqun bil khayrat, the muqtasidun, the people of obedience. The zalimun li nafsi, qad yakun, but the acceptance is going to be the acceptance with the people of khayr. He's not going to be accepted amongst the kuffar. He's not going to be accepted against Ahl al-Bid'ah. In fact, Ahl al-Bid'ah are going to be his most staunch enemies. He's not going to be accepted amongst the munafiqeen, also staunch enemies. So I mean, this is the qabul is what he calls, because he's on obedience, and this is what he's obviously going to be calling the people to. There's acceptance for that in the earth amongst the people of khayr. Because the majority of the people, no matter what we try to do, the majority of people are not going to be on iman. They're not going to be on obedience. And as we get closer and closer to the last days, that's going to get what? That ta'ifatul mansura that the Prophet ﷺ talked about. Ma yazalu ta'ifatun mansuratan ala hadha al-amr. Like there's always going to be like this ta'ifatul what? Mansura. La yadurruhum man khadalahum aw khalafahum hatta yati amrullahi wa hum ظاهرون على الناس. Or the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يضرهم من خالفهم من خذلهم أو خالفهم. Like they will not be harmed by the people who abandon them or the people that go against them. حتى يأتي أمر الله, until the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. وهم ظاهرون على الناس. And they're going to be the people that are ظاهر. They're going to be the stronger ones over the people. So this is a ta'ifa. Ta'ifatul Mansura. It's a small group of people. Out of all the people, all the Muslims of the world, forget everybody else, because the majority of this world, kuffar, Asna. That's the majority of the world. We got like, 1.5 billion Muslims? And if we believe the kuffar, which we don't, but let's entertain it for a second. There's 9 billion people on the face of this earth, or 8 billion, or whatever.
8 billion.
All right, let's say 8 billion. Let's say 8.5 billion. So that means 1.5 billion Muslims and 7 billion what? Kuffar. So I mean, obviously we're the minority regardless. And then on top of that, amongst the Muslims, they count everybody.
Yeah.
They count the Rafidah. They count the the Ismailiyah. They count all these groups that are like out of gone, completely gone. They're not even, but they count them as Muslims. So and we know so we're the smallest of the small. Like we're the smallest group. So I mean, and that's the reality. So that's where the qabul is going to be. That's where the acceptance is going to be. The acceptance is not going to be with the majority of the people. So, and if you find acceptance with kuffar and you find acceptance with disobedient people, then Allahu musta'an, akhi, you got to go back and check what you're calling to, because like I said, they're going to be the people that are going to accept generally, you calling to the opposite of their desires. Allahu musta'an wa ilahunna subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.